Welcome into the Toyota Winners Lounge, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships. This is the DNVR Avalanche postgame show presented by Bet365. The Avs defeat the Seattle Kraken 6-3 in this one. Really, on the whole, I think they played a very, very quality hockey game. We'll get into all of the little details here, there, and everywhere else. Ultimately, though, maybe the most important part, Eric's bet hit. In fact, we hit all three of our pregame bets in this one, so not bad. Eric made a good chunk of change, but every once in a while, we do the betting thing well, so not too bad for us on that front.
Thanks to Az video assistant coach Brett.
Pretty sure Mikko's getting the empty netter all the way too.
True, but again, it just felt better.
It did. To have it done less than halfway through the game.
Have it done before, yeah.
Felt pretty good. Felt pretty good.
Better.
Quick recap. Avs win the first period 2-1 off of goals from Chris Wagner and Ivan. They do give one up to Jaden Schwartz. In the second period, a bit of a rough start. The Avs almost immediately give up a goal to Jared McCann, but they answer with two power play goals of their own. Lehkonen and Rantanen, the Finn gang, does get on the board. And then the third period was really pretty much a lockdown period. The Avs played up 2 for the majority of the game. They did give up 1 with the goalie pulled to Matty Beniers, but 2 goals follow back again for Colorado. Mikko in the empty netter, and Nikolai Kovalenko picks up a garbage time goal on the power play. That's how you get to your 6-3 final. I'm going to ask you a question. How much of this was the mental side of this game with the Avs knowing Lehkonen was back at the lineup versus how much of this was the Avs just recognizing they needed to right the ship a little bit here?
Well, a little bit of both, right? I mean, you're a proud team. You've lost 3 in a row. You know, you dropped 3 in the tank there. You're at home. They haven't been good at home. Their record at home hasn't been good. Actually, it's been really poor. And then you get a guy like Lecky that's Mr. Everything, PP, PK, 5-on-5. I mean, first line, right? Slots everybody in the right way. Huge. And you knew he was going to have a big night. And, you know, usually there's a little drop-off after your first big night. It just is. Usually, I don't know why. You're so hyped up, you know what I mean? Because you've been waiting so long to get back in. So hopefully he doesn't hit that. We can't afford to have... the Avalanche can't afford to have Lehkonen hit that little drop, you know, the natural drop after you come back from an injury.
Yep.
Because of the situation they're in. But you could tell he's a difference maker. He plays the right way. He plays there was that one shift at the blue line there, at his blue line. It was outstanding. Yeah, he scored a goal. Yeah, he assisted on another one, right? He's got 1-on-1 tonight? Yeah. And, he was a big presence. But just go look at that shift in the first period when he's patrolling the blue line, his own blue line. Nothing gets in. That's what he does. That's what he brings to this organization. He's a key piece that's been missing. Having him back was huge. And like you just said, you know, it was important for the Avs to get back on track, to get back in the winning column, to keep an opponent, a Western Conference opponent, down in the dumpster. You know what I mean? That's 4 in a row now. Again, you're losing 4 in a row, you're in trouble. You know what I mean? I don't care what people say. So the Avs were in that range of losing 4th in a row for the second time in this short season. So it's a big win. They got to the, obviously, the jump early in the game. It makes a big difference in a game. And again, the superstars came to play. So when you do that, it's usually a recipe for a win.
It was tonight at very least, and I think it's a good thing to shout out. They didn't win the other night against Nashville, but it's 2 games in a row where the process was good for the Colorado Avalanche. And look, we were seeing it in the chat during the watch-along and things. Yeah, Seattle's probably not the best team in the world. Well, that's a team that the Avs went out and just played better than. For essentially, at 5-on-5, they were better than them the entire game. It was not particularly effective hockey from Seattle, and the Avs went out and did what they had to do. Yeah, sure. You don't want to give them a ton of credit because Seattle's not a very good team. Fair enough. But also, there are not a lot of things I'm picking out of this game and saying that the Avs need to do that better. So you played as good as you can reasonably expect a team to play against the opponent they had.
Absolutely. But like I said, you got to be ready. And again, the Avalanche are so beat up right now. You know what I mean? So it's like any game's a challenge when you're, for the coaching staff, for the players, when you're going out there with half a lineup. I mean, especially at forward, obviously. I mean, the backhand's been more than fine, but it's a challenge. The National Hockey League is not an easy league, and you got to play the game that's in front of you, like you always say, and they sure did that tonight. And then you savor it tonight, and then you get up tomorrow, go to practice, and then you get on the bird, and you go to Winnipeg. So,
yep.
And then you move on to the next one.
I want to start with something negative here before we get into a lot of the positives tonight. Cale Makar leaves the game with what we assume to be a groin area injury based on what we saw. He was kind of holding his right inner thigh. He does try to return for the third period, plays essentially one shift, and then cuts it off, ends up going back down the tunnel. Look, we're not doctors. I'm not going to pretend like I know what the injury actually is. As is always the case, there is no update after the game. It's just not enough time to really get a reasonable knowledge of what's going on. I think it's probably encouraging that whatever happened, and Makar at least tried to come back. That means it's not completely debilitating injury, even if there is an injury going on there. The reality is if the Avs lose Cale Makar, that is very, very bad. If your options are a healthy Cale Makar and you lose this game, or you win this game and Cale Makar is hurt for a significant amount of time, you take the loss. The Avs won the game, so that's fun. Hopefully, whatever it is with Makar isn't something too serious.
Sometimes it's just something as simple as, he hit a rut on the ice there and tweaked his. I mean, it's sure looked like that when he's going towards the referee and he turns left. And again, I'm not going to assume. I played Dr. Google here. We can only go by what we saw. After seeing what we saw, you can tell it's definitely a groin injury. The groin, whatever it is, that area, and has the between peers to see what he's got, and then tries to come back, and you can tell he's a little hesitant, and they're up 4-2 at that time. Listen, I think it's the right thing to shut him down. Like you were saying, please shut him down. And they listened to the show, and that's why they shut him down. They listened to Rudo. And again, you don't want things to flare up, so probably start doing therapy right away on it. You know what I mean? Take your gear off, go shower, put some ice on it, put some stim, whatever it is that you do. Pull grind. He's going to have some anti-inflammatory, whatever it is, and some stuff at practice tomorrow, and then you'll see. I mean, if he gets on the bird to go to a one gamer in Winnipeg, then you can tell it's not very, it's not serious. Now, if they hold him back, then you're like, okay, let's cross our fingers. You know what I mean? And let's hope that it's just a one gamer. But I think tomorrow, when you find out if he did jump on the bird or not, it will dictate a little bit on what course of action that's going to be taken.
For sure. If he flies, I'm not worried at all.
If he goes all the way to Winnipeg to just, go to Winnipeg to go have a hot dog upstairs in the press box. You know what I mean? So that means there's plenty of therapists that would stay back, whether it's, Scotty will make the trip, or Donovan, or somebody would stay back with them. You know what I mean? So, and you got the Val here too, and, that's skating. So, again, I think it's going to be very telling tomorrow if he gets on the plane or not. It will tell you the severity of the injury.
Yeah, obviously you hope for the best there, and that it's nothing serious. Again, the Avs are... before tonight, Cale Makar was tied for the lead in points in the league. And the only reason he's not anymore is because a different Av went all-world tonight. So, kind of an important piece for the Avs. And
you only got 5 apples.
It would be incredibly stupid for the Avs to finally start getting guys back only for Cale Makar to go down immediately. So, yeah, that's an important part of this deal. The game itself, though, again, I think you have to be really, really happy with the way the Avs played. Before we get into the guy who obviously did the heavy lifting tonight, I don't know if you call them depth goals because, they're playing next to Nathan MacKinnon when they score these, but you get a goal from Chris Wagner. You get a goal from Ivan. You also end up with a goal from Nikolai Kovalenko in garbage time. It felt a little bit like the dam finally broke for the Avs shooting tonight. The puck finally started going in a little bit for them. Is that hey, they went out and earned it, or is that it was just going to happen eventually type thing?
Maybe playing an 800 goalie in Grubauer.
It doesn't hurt.
It
doesn't hurt.
God, that's wrong. That's wrong with me. No, but you're right. I mean, at some point, you're like I told you yesterday. I was talking about Kovalenko. At some point, you play 15 minutes a night. Like, you got to put the puck in the net somehow.
Yeah.
I don't care that it's on the last second there, but he had a nice assist there, crashed in the net, right? They went to the greasy pizza area there. But at some point, you're going to have to put some production up on the board. And like I say all the time, especially if you're playing a half a shift with MacKinnon or Makar, you know what I mean? So, again, they took full advantage of that tonight. It was nice to see. And like you said, the dam broke. And, again, just happened to be Grubauer. But this is what it is.
It is what it is on that front. And, you're in a situation here where the lines are still kind of jumbled. Yes, getting Lehkonen back is nice. Having some go-to lines, having some guys a little bit further down your lineup, cool. But you still get a mix and match. Every single shift, you're going to have to be ready to play with whoever.
Oh, yeah.
And let's face it, I don't want to talk about MacKinnon just yet, but a lot of guys scoring when he's on the ice. Put it to you that way. He makes everybody better.
Well, that's his job, right?
Yep.
As one of the best, obviously won the Hart Trophy last year, right? You make people around you better. Mikko was awake tonight.
Not perfect, but much better.
Not perfect, but more involved, right? More
Yep.
involved. You need Mikko involved, and when Mikko's involved, he's all world. And he makes people around him better as well. So I think it was important for the Avalanche to really come out to a big start, and they did. And I think it just facilitated the rest of the 60 minutes. You know what I mean? The rest of the 55 minutes after taking the lead. They punched right back. And whenever Seattle came back, they punched them right back in the face, which was very important. And, again, I thought Seattle was a little bit listless for a lot of the game. They had a little bit of a push, like you said. Then again, they got 20 shots on net. I mean, how great of a game can you have? It's not that great. And again, I don't know why they keep doing that in net, but I think they do have a great goalie in Decor, and just let them play and go from there. But we'll take it. I got no problem with them, alternating their goalies because it seemed to not work at the moment.
I'd be playing Decord. I'll tell you that much.
But I just don't get it. But whatever. I don't work for them.
The Avs only gave up 18 shots on goal at 5-on-5 in this game. They led for the vast majority of the game. There were some times where it was tied, but they never trailed. That is dominance from ahead from this team. And it's not just, the best players were your best players tonight, which the Avs have needed. Awesome. But up and down the lineup, the Avs' fourth line dominated possession tonight. You look at some of the D pairings. Gerard, fantastic when it comes to the possession numbers. Him and Manson together when they were together were very good. Obviously, it was a little bit mix and match with the Makar injury, so a lot of defense playing with a lot of different players. But you watched a team just, especially in the first two periods, I don't know what you want to call it, effort, call it heart, but they were winning every puck battle. They were getting in and doing the little details that you have to do to win.
Oh, I love their hunger tonight. I loved it. They were as hungry as I am on the forecheck when I'm looking for Chef Rob's breakfast sandwich at night. They were on it. They were like, like we always say, junkyard dogs. I mean, that went from everybody. They were tight in the 5-man units. There was no gap in between the forwards and the Ds. I thought they were on it. I thought they were sharp. I thought they had more passion than the other team, which is very important. And especially in the situation that both teams were in. Like I said, listen, you're losing 3 in a row. If you lose again, you're at 4. You don't know what can happen when you go on a losing streak. And then it just gets away from you. Disaster happens. That's how jobs are lost. That's how changes are made. That goes for any team.
Yep.
Just look at Edmonton last year. I mean, right? They went to the Stanley Cup Finals, but yeah, it cost the head coach his job. Josh Manson's dad his job, as the D coach there. I mean, it just disrupts a lot of lives and lineups and people are like, oh, I'm like, buddy, I'm telling you, I don't care about the injuries. It starts creeping up. And then all of a sudden you're like, what are we doing right now? What is going on with this mess, Because like a situation like tonight, they can play those games and win games exactly the way they just did it.
Pretty good.
Yep.
On that note, if you want to go eat like the dog, make sure you're getting yourself to Circle K and getting a part of the inner circle. All you have to do is download the app with that QR code on screen, enter your email and phone number, and you're fully enrolled. From there, you get deals on food, drinks, and more every single day. And maybe the coolest part, your next 5 fill-ups, you get 25 cents off a gallon at the pump. So make sure you're part of the inner circle. Get in with their Polar Pops. Super easy to download. If you want, you can go to the link in the description too. You can download that app and sign in for Inner Circle exclusive offers, including new offers, purchase clubs, and sweepstakes that are uploaded weekly today with Circle K's Inner Circle. And once you're saving money with Circle K, make sure you're taking care of your money too with Premier Members Credit Union. Premier Members Credit Union is here and part of the community here in Colorado. They're not a bank. They're here to be part of the community as a credit union. Of course, it's getting more and more difficult to save money right now, and that's why you need to make smart money moves. And that's where Premier Credit Union comes into play. They can get you into their reverse tier money market program, and it's a game changer for your finances. To be honest, they provide local branches, friendly tellers, and tools you need to save smarter. The reverse tier money market account is the one you need to get ahead and stay ahead in this economy. So head over to becomepremier.com or the link in our show notes to learn more about Premier Members Credit Union. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. I don't want to beat around the bush anymore on this one. Our UC Health Live Extraordinary Player of the Game is, of course, Nathan MacKinnon. 5-point night. All 5 assists. I've been talking a lot how I want Nathan MacKinnon to shoot the puck more this year, but if he's going to do that, I guess I don't have anything to say. That's the MVP version of Nathan MacKinnon. I don't speak words. Eric's just a barking dog at this point.
You picked him before the game. I picked Shippershop.
I picked Nico. But
same thing.
Look.
I picked Prishchap. Help me out with the name here.
Prishchapov. Who was good, didn't score, though.
I like the kid. I like it. I got no problem.
Look. That version of Nathan MacKinnon is the guy who won the MVP. Not that he hasn't been really, really good this year with his production. That's the guy who puts a team on his back, says, we're going to win this game no matter what, and I'm going to make all of you better hockey players.
I told you before the game we were eating. Remember Chef Rob's excellent food downstairs, and I said, I think he's been good. And you're like, buddy, he's had 20-something points. And I'm like, no, I know. I'm not saying he's been bad.
Yeah.
I'm saying that there's been a lot of nights where he's been quiet, 2 points, 3 points, but not like, oh my God, was he all world? Where tonight, for me, that was okay. We got the bark right now. Ruff, ruff, ruff. He was barking like a dog, and he was going at it, and I loved it, and he made some sick plays. It's a 5-point night. It's a career night for him, assist-wise. Fun to watch, and that's what we said.
Yep.
If those guys are that, and they're getting a little bit of goal time, which they did a little bit. Was it perfect? No, but and then they're getting some power play, and then obviously a guy like Lecky's presence in the lineup, you can win games. I know, like you said, Seattle, big test Thursday, bigger test with the pesky Winnipeg Jets.
Yep.
On the road, but you know what? Probably easier to play on the road. So get out there, go play, and go from there.
Yep. And look. You usually end up with a couple of cheap ones when you get 5 points. MacKinnon had the secondary assists on Mikko, empty netter. Hard
play on the wall.
Yeah, sure. Good play on the wall. But look at when this game was close. Unbelievable play to Chris Wagner to get the Avs.
But even there, we're watching something else. But when he wins the puck in the corner, he wins the battle, gives it to Kale. Kale gives it to Mikko that one times it.
Yep. And then the beautiful pass to Lecky on his power play.
That's what I mean. Like, he was like, he made, and then
it's not like he's living on cheapies here.
or even like you said, the Wagner at the blue line. Gee,
Yeah.
I mean, that was sick. That was dancing. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, and again, he loses that puck. I want to fight him. You know what I mean? Because it's a blue line turnover, BLT.
But he's Nathan MacKinnon,
but he's
and
Nathan
sometimes
MacKinnon,
he makes
it
a play.
works, you know?
Right, exactly.
So, which is awesome. So, but that was a sick play.
When you're that good, sometimes you get away with the maybe not the best ideas because sometimes you make them work. Look.
Those guys have to have creative freedom, and they do.
Oh, of course.
That's where Bednar's so good.
You're
He
just
gives
holding
them
them back
creative
if you don't
freedom.
give it to them.
And as a player, you understand that. Like I said, I wouldn't dare making that play if I wanted to still play a shift again in the league. But guys like that, they can actually make it happen, and that's why they are the best. That's why they win the MVP. So.
And at the end of tonight, Nathan MacKinnon's going to lead the league in points with
There you go.
25 in 13 games.
It's if you do that and it never works, then then you
got a
always
problem.
you got to go to the minors because
Yeah.
you can't understand what this game is.
It's not working, bud. Figure out something else to do at that point.
Absolutely.
The funny thing is, the Avs got Arturi Lehkonen back in this game. And you expected that to help elevate your top line. I talked about it. It felt like a few too many times over the last couple of games, someone like a Kivi Ranta was failing to finish on that top line. Not that there was anything the Avs can do about that. They just didn't have the bodies. But funnily enough, tonight's the night where they all started finishing. Maybe we should give Nathan MacKinnon a little bit more credit for setting up some of the plays that didn't end up in the back of the net over the last couple of games.
And look no further than on the power play where, Colton's had a few right there. Obviously, Lecky gets it from right there. Ivan has scored from right there. Middlestat, I think, scored from right there, too. How many times this year have guys scored from that position there on the power play? Pretty sick. That means you need a guy to thread the needle, and obviously Nate's been threading the needle right there at that spot there. Obviously, being a righty, throwing the puck there to usually a lefty.
Yeah.
Worked again tonight. Just a different jersey. Different jersey. That was sick, though. Like the way he picks it up, like he just kind of shoots it out of the air. I'm talking about Lecky.
Yeah.
So
Lecky's
pretty cool.
Surprisingly good at finding those pucks when it comes to putting them on net and shooting a. Not that that's a bad pass; it's an unbelievable saucer pass, but pucks that aren't lying flat necessarily.
Yeah, but it's like that's the rule, right? It's like, hey, throw it that way in the vicinity, and then whoever's in that position, you got to find a way to
at
get
least
it off.
put it towards the net. Yeah,
And
something effective.
That's what
with
Lecky
it.
does, right? And that's what
Yep.
Ivan's done well.
True.
That's what done it twice actually from there, and that's what Ross did for a few times too. So very important play, and again, let's call him the dog, but he's also a magician.
There are a couple of negatives I want to get into, even though I really do think it was a complete effort from the Avs' whole lineup. Before we get into those, though, I do want to hear what Jared Bednar had to say about this one. He has the Cale Makar non-update. I warned you. It's not going to say anything about it, but it's in there. Let's hear what Bedsy had to say.
Questions for Jared?
Coach, do you have an update on Cale?
I don't. Just that he tweaked something late in the second and wasn't able to continue.
Mentioned challenges at home. How's it feel to get a win under your belt tonight?
Yeah, it was good. I liked our game right from the get-go. I thought we were engaged, we were skating, we were aggressive, disciplined, and we had a real strong commitment to defend the right way. So I liked the game tonight. And then we were able to finally put some pucks in the net. Obviously, the power play helped with that.
Where do you feel like his presence was most felt? He's obviously power play, pound kill, top line.
Everywhere. I mean, yeah, like power play scores a nice goal. Great pass by Nate, but 5-on-5, the touches, coming up with pucks. Even the one that was reviewed, like that's all him keeping the puck alive, and then guys pouring onto it. So I mean, like he just everywhere. All the things that we know to be his strengths, he brought right away from the drop of the puck tonight.
On that review play, was it you that asked the officials to do a second look, or who on the bench? Or
Yeah, so like it's offside, but they're the ones that shot it in. So and Brett radioed down right away. Like we didn't force them to shoot it in; they shot it in. So we we were trying to get their attention and talk to them about it. They felt like they had the right call. Then we went over again and talked to the other official. They were still, deciding, and then decided to go take another look. I think it actually ended up being probably Kale mentioning it to the linesman, because we were talking to the refs, and I think Kale talking to the linesman and kind of staying in their ear and getting them to back it up and look at it is what ended up being the difference. But Francis went over and talked to those guys too, so I think Toronto might have looked at it by then as well.
In terms of creating opportunities process-wise leading up to this game, the team maybe deserved a better fate. Finally gets rewarded with some goals, but you mentioned it. How do you think the defensive effort loans itself to getting some goals in this game?
Well, always does. I think the better you check, the quicker you get it back, the more you can catch teams in transition, number one. I mean, the more you're playing with the puck and less time you're spending in your zone, you're going to get to play in the offensive zone more, especially if you're efficient with moving the puck. I thought the first period we really were. We had 29 shot attempts in the first period, 5-on-5, which I love that we kind of sped up our offensive attack a little bit. Something we've been talking about. There's lots of guys out of the lineup. It's a good lineup we have, but it's still meat and potatoes. So shooting and crashing the net a little bit, I think, is needs to become part of our DNA. Outside of maybe say Max Line, who likes to play with the puck a lot in the offensive zone. So that's what we talked about before the game, and we came out and kind of stuck to that plan. So didn't really surprise me that when we do that more efficiently, you get more pucks there, more traffic there, that you get rewarded for it. But it's just some nights it's more difficult than others.
Two losing streaks so far this season. The last one ended with Nate getting 9 shots on goal in the winner, and then tonight, just your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, well, he was outstanding. Committed on both sides of the puck. You look at some of his reloads and tracking when he gets back in the D zone to turn the puck over offensively. He was making plays and skating. Gets rewarded. What do you have? 5 assists. But that line was great. I thought that's Mikko's best game in quite some time. He was engaged right away. He scored early, so he's feeling it. Lecky obviously made a big difference on that line. Mitty's line was good. We were good throughout the lineup, but obviously we're led by our top guys again tonight.
Coach, I know Bednar scores there, but Parker Kelly maybe 6 blocks on the same shift.
Yeah, insane.
Talk about sacrifice.
Yeah, I thought he was outstanding. I mean, just knowing what they were planning on trying to do, that they would want those guys shooting off that flank and then covering off the middle and stepping out and blocking it was a heck of an effort. I'd like to see that one stay out of the net. I think that's one Juice would want back. He should have been over there a little bit earlier. But it was a great effort by Kells and the other guys on the ice to keep it off of our net.
You just mentioned Annan, just where are you at with him, as far as relative to the other goalies? Are you building confidence in him? Or?
Oh yeah, I have been. I mean, he played good. He got us another win tonight. He's given us a chance to win almost every night he's in the net. So, I mean, that's great. And he's done it more frequently than he's done it last year, right? We've only seen him in short spurts for a couple years, and last year a little bit longer, because of when we got him last year and the way. The fight that we were in and whatnot, he didn't play as much. He didn't string games together like he's doing this year, but he's giving us a chance every night.
Your last ones, go ahead.
I know the injury kind of, gave you maybe a game and a half of it, or half a game of it, but you put Devon Caves and Kel McCarr back together. Did you feel like you got more of what you wanted from them together?
We got times. Yeah, it was good. I mean, I like G and Kale together too, to be honest with you, and I like Mance and Taser. So I think we have some flexibility there depending on what other teams' lines look like.
Obviously, it's super important that we get the start early on, but those 2 goals came from the bottom 6. How important is it that those guys and that depth is kind of getting that going for
It's
you?
imperative, yeah, because you can't, as much as we do rely on our top guys and you need them to lead the way on the offensively, you need other guys to chip in. We haven't got it for a few games and we haven't won. We get it tonight, we win. It's not. You have to have guys chipping in offensively. You got to bury some of the chances that you get. Tonight we did a better job of it throughout our lineup than we have in the previous handful of games.
Okay. Last one, go ahead.
Speaking of the top guys, Mikko Rantanen gets his first after a little bit of a drought, 9 games, I believe.
Yeah.
How relieving is it to see him get rewarded in that way for the goal?
Well, you want him to, and Yeah, I thought he worked extremely hard and was a determined player tonight, So I liked his game right away. Then he gets rewarded, and I thought he just got better and better as the game went on. Ends up getting another one with the empty net on a nice play from Mac and Lucky, and I think G. So, yeah, you want them to feel good about their game. I know it gets frustrating as a scorer when you don't score for a bit. Sometimes it takes a little extra effort, a little extra determination. I thought he had that tonight.
Thanks, Jared.
Yep.
So, I mean, you got it all, I think, from Colorado tonight. Your best players were your best players. You got the depth scoring you needed. Bednar talked about that. I'm going to talk about a few negatives in a second here, but they are very, very minor in what was a very good game for Colorado. And it was a fun game for me because I got to sit up here, watch it on the watch along with an ice cold Coors Light in my hands. Good. It's the beer literally made to chill. The mountains turn blue on the bottle or the can to let you know it's ice cold and ready to drink. It's the beer I reach for when I'm watching an Avs game. You can get some too, whether at your local liquor store or you don't even have to get up off your couch. You're sitting at home watching us right now. Go to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. You can get Coors Light delivered right to your front door thanks to Instacart. So jump on it with Coors Light. Make sure you're in with them and getting that beer. Of course, the beer made to chill. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Please drink responsibly. And once you've had a Coors Light, once you're vibing with life, make sure you also check out Empire Today and see if you need some new floors. Because let's face it, Empire Today is the best out there. They only carry the highest quality products, not like those other people that carry junk that you don't want, whether it's tile, whether it's wood floor, whether it's carpet. They've got you covered at Empire Today. And you get $350 off some new floors with EmpireToday.com/DNVR. They've got professional installers, and if you can even see what it looks like, you can project it into a room. If you measure it out online, they'll show you what it looks like in that space. Go get with them, as I mentioned, EmpireToday.com/DNVR. You can also get a free inspection in person from them if that's what you're looking for. 1-800-588-2300. Empire Today. Yeah, we should definitely take that on the road. That'll sell for sure.
Thank you.
Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Where are the likes, fam? The Avs won this game, and we're not even that close to winner shots. Slacking out here. Let's go.
Slacking.
Get it together, all right? Jump on with it. Let's talk about the weird goalie. You ever seen a double challenge on a play for the same thing get overturned two different ways?
I have to admit I've seen it. I don't remember when, but I should have known. When I told you, like, oh my God, they're challenging for something. It must be for, full control, which
it was not.
It was
full
not.
Control,
But
no
I mean,
doubt.
at first thought, I'm like, they're challenging for something. And then after that, it just clicks in your head, like, oh my God, they must have brought it
They
back.
shot it, rimmed it out themselves.
Which I didn't think it was from a shot. I thought it was from a bad pass.
Sure, whatever.
Which that's the rule. You bring the puck back in. It's offsides are waved off. I mean, it's just the way it is. That's for any play. But I tell you, that was a great job by Brett there or whoever, and it's certainly the play of the game right there. And especially with the bet 365. Thank you for the bet. But we need a Mikko to score. Now he ends up scoring at the end, but still, you don't like to leave it in the last minute to an empty netter to cover your bet. But no, it was certainly a fun play in a sense that it does make you think a little bit, and everybody gets all confused, everybody gets all fired up, and you get all mad. And on top of it, Seattle gets a penalty for the wrong challenge. So it was awesome. It was awesome.
Ultimately, they got the calls all correct. I think they got the calls right. With that being said, as the team that benefited from this, these rules are stupid, man. Why did we need a 10-minute break in the middle of this game to break down a rule that it's right, it's wrong, it's right? Nobody knows what the actual rule is for something that ultimately had virtually nothing to do with the actual goal getting scored.
I know, but
it's a waste of everybody's time. They got it right in the first place.
Yeah, I know. Boy, the linesman had no idea when he goes like this.
I know.
That it was like he was just going by. He made the wrong call because his eyes were like he got something in his eye there, a nice chip, and he couldn't see that. Like he was like 5 feet offside, so he waved it off.
But ultimately, like. The way the challenge exists in the modern game of hockey, anything close, linesmen are going to err on the side of letting it go because the challenge will fix the problem.
Absolutely.
The problem is the first time they did the challenge, they got it wrong. Because it wasn't an offside. They just didn't look at the first part of the play.
Yeah.
And the onus should not be on, in my opinion, the onus should not be on the coaches to get those calls correct.
I agree.
And Jared Bednar and probably Brett Heimlich, the Avs video guy, shout out to him, had to go correct the NHL referees, including the people in the war room looking at this, to get the right call out of that. It's a ridiculous scenario that makes the NHL look bad.
Yeah, or maybe somebody in the war room had it, but by then it's too late. They're about to drop the puck, right? And you know what I mean? I don't know. I'd like to know what happened in the war room there, actually. Be nice to know.
Somebody messed up.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And
you should watch it all the way back, right? You know.
And we did all that, and it kills the flow of the game. It sucks as a fan to sit there for 10 minutes while nothing's going on. And I get it. Like, I know they want to make the right calls. I think it's good that they try and make the right calls. But the process has to be better than what we saw in that goal for making the right call. That was not... Nobody liked that. That was not an enjoyable experience.
I agree.
For anyone. So... It is what it is on that goal. Ultimately, the Avs catch a break, or it's the right call, or things went their way. Whatever you want. Yep, go play the game, go win the game. That is what the Avs did. And credit to them, because they came out and worked very, very hard at 5-on-5 in this game to answer for some of their shortcomings. At 5-on-5, pretty much no notes. I know technically the one goal was scored on them 5-on-5. That was the power play had just expired. It's really a power play goal.
Yeah.
They do give up another actual power play goal, and then they give up a 6-on-5 goal. So no goals against really at 5-on-5, even if there's technically one. Which brings me to my one real negative here. Discipline in the penalty kill.
Yeah.
It's got to get better. You can't keep putting yourself in bad spots, particularly the penalty in the offensive zone by Casey Middlestat.
Yeah.
In the second or at the end of the first period. Those are the types of penalties that will burn you. We talked about Seattle not being a very good team. You let them in this game with bad penalties.
Yeah, and I'll fight you back with a couple positives too. Like,
go for it.
Nothing Berger played the end of a game, but what a pass by Casey Middlestat.
Yeah,
to Kovalenko.
totally.
What a play that is. Not many people, we tend to forget, you know what I mean? Like, this kid's a good player. He's going to have a fantastic year. And then looking at the stats a little bit there, rare you've seen this year the Avalanche dominate the face-off circle. And what does it do? They control the game. I mean, it starts there. It starts by not chasing the puck. They did have the puck most of the night. They did control the play. And again, I don't think it's a coincidence that all of a sudden on the face-off circle they were outstanding tonight compared to the other nights.
They didn't finish that outstanding, but
I mean, what they have for 55 to 46, or
yeah, Seattle.
I mean,
Seattle had 55.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I just saw this right here.
I'm looking at it right now, buddy.
Freaking
Avs had 45.
Luke.
Anyway, I will also. I mean, I'll give you it both ways. The Avs penalty kill.
Oh, Seattle, you're right. Oh, yikes. Take that back. Well, they reached 46%. The other night they were at 20.
Look, 46% for the Avs, not that bad.
That's what I'm saying. Sorry, I looked it all wrong. I was looking at the other side. I'm like, wow, it jumped at me, but Seattle was on the left side. See?
I'll give you a positive and a negative here.
Seattle was on the left side.
Yep. Yeah, there were some bad penalties tonight by the Colorado Avalanche. The negative, your penalty kills got to get better. It was essentially 2 power play goals against. You got to kill 3 out of 4 at least if you want to survive. And really, you should probably be killing 4 out of 5 to be a good penalty kill unit in the NHL. It's got to improve. Part of that is, what happened on the start of the second period goal there? That's a disaster of a turnover from Logan O'Connor, a play you just can't make. And it's a high danger chance, but it goes in 5-hole. I'd want to save out of Georgiev there. I want to save out of Anna.
It's a bad push by Eustace there. I didn't like it. He's leaky. He's soft on the push, and that's why the puck gets through him. You know, you're right. If this was Georgiev, I would have said, buddy, you need a save there. Again, I'm not going to deviate from that. You needed a save there from Eustace. Made it a 2-2 game, but the Avs came right back, which credit to them.
The team in front of them answered. The team in front. Look, they gave up 20 shots on goal total tonight. They played great. At the end of the day, that one save is the difference between an 830 and a 900 for Eustace.
100%.
It ultimately didn't matter because the Avs and MacKinnon just wouldn't take no for an answer tonight. They were going to win this game.
Yep.
But that's what you talk about when I understand that side of it. When people say, well, it's just Seattle. Well, that was not a good team they played against. Yeah, a goal against like that hurts a lot more against a team that is going to be more challenging for the Avs to beat. I understand that.
100%.
The positive side of that is the Avs still won the special teams battle tonight. They score 3 power play goals in this game. 2 meaningful ones. The extra garbage time one is kind of whatever, but it was still a very nice play. And their response goals, too. For the most part,
yep.
Yeah, the Avs gave up that goal early in the second. They score on their next 2 power play opportunities to answer back to Seattle, ultimately take over the game and win the game as a whole. So
it's always important. Momentum's a big, big thing. Momentum swings are very important in the game. We talked about it before the game. Big Mo there. When you lose them, you got to go back and get Mo back, and they did that tonight. They punched right back, right in the mouth of the Seattle Kraken.
All right. We have our man in the arena, Gizmo, calling in. It took until game 13 to get there. But Giz, what does it feel like to get the true Nathan MacKinnon experience? Oh, wait.
You give me that all day long. I mean, that's everything you want out of the guy. 5 points, fun to watch. I mean, leaders lead, right? And you saw it tonight, kind of hitting on all levels, and it's perfect, right? You know Nathan MacKinnon has been the guy, and he talked about it with us in the post game about not really feeling phenomenal, but at the end of the day, it's a 13-game point streak, and he figured it on 5 tonight. Pretty incredible to watch. I've watched some pretty special hockey players in my day, and that performance by Nathan MacKinnon ranks very high for me.
It's always fun when a dude just casually pops off for 5 points and makes everyone around him look better. Giz, as a team, did it look as good as it looked for us over here? Was it really what we've expected this Avalanche team to perform like?
That was their best game, their best performance, the best they've looked all season long. There was a renewed energy there. There was a feistiness that I loved. So it had the elements of tough. It had the defensive sacrifices of a playoff run. And then, of course, it had the balanced offense. I mean, the importance of getting goals like they have gotten in that game tonight and contributions from not just the big stars made all the difference in the world. You could see and feel a little bit of a valve release, if you will, from everybody else. And I truthfully think that freed up guys like Rantanen to go do his thing. And another phenomenal performance there by MacKinnon, and Cale Makar found a way to extend the point streak also. So that's an A+ effort. That's exactly what they needed. I thought Eustace played great. Sans that last goal that he probably wanted back. Maybe he could have gotten over just a little bit quicker there, but that's me nitpicking on a real Aces performance across the board tonight for the Avs.
I know Rudo called you the man in the arena. As you know,
I do love that title, by the way. I really do love that.
That's Tom Brady. So, again, I'll let it slide again.
You're going to have to keep letting it slide.
Don't mess with my boy Tom. Second of all, on the airplane when the pressure goes whatever off, and then the airbags, whatever you call those things, those masks come down. Like, is that what it felt like? When Cale Makar, people kept looking probably with binoculars in the stands to see if Cale Makar was on the bench, and was that a little bit of a gasp, for air in the arena when everybody realized that actually he was gone?
Yeah, because of all the injuries actually lately, they've installed those oxygen masks in the entire vicinity. So all 18,000 seats now have them. They deployed immediately when Cale looked like he was injured. Coach Bednar did allude to the fact that he tweaked something. I think, again, let's go for the positive and the optimistic view on this one. He did not go off immediately. He did return to the bench, didn't play a ton of shifts in that third period, obviously, but was on the bench. So whether that was optics or whether that was, we're just gonna be cautious with this. I think that's a smart play. I do think that they are being cautious with little things. There's a couple of other guys that have had minor little tweaks, and they're erring on the side of caution right now. Most certainly in terms of how they play those injuries and where they're at. But no update necessarily fully on Cale Makar. Hopefully we should hear something tomorrow before the team jets to Winnipeg.
I see that.
Jets to Winnipeg.
Yeah. But I did
Gotta
this
hope
for a while, once at a time.
Just a few years doing this. Just a few.
Just a few.
Giz, I don't know if I've asked you this before, but given the topsy-turvy challenge madness in the second period, what are your thoughts on this offside challenge nonsense that we've gotten into in this league?
Well, hey, listen, I mean, I get it. It's part of it now. I'm not a big fan of it, especially ones that are that close, but holy smokes, props to Bednar and the staff for the absolute reversal of all reversals. I don't know if you guys remember that game Uno, but talk about a reverse card and talk about the emotions that I had in that one. Thanks to my Bet365 bet, I really needed that goal. I was watching the game and he scored, and I was like, "Oh, this is amazing!" And then I'm like, "Oh no, they're reviewing it." And then it's like, "Oh, it's offside," and I was like, "No." And then like, "Ah, no, just kidding, it's not offside." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It was incredible. I was ecstatic. My nephew Billy rode the emotions with me the entire time on that one. It was like a roller coaster. It was like we were back at the New York.
Oof, I'm good with the roller coaster turning out in the Avs fashion, and I do think they got the call right. But boy, was that a long 10 minutes.
That was probably one of the most extensive, and I don't know, Eric, maybe you could weigh in on this, but that's one of the most extensive review processes that I might have ever seen. I don't recall. I don't know if I could recall any in my time calling games in the NHL to be that long and that confusing. Like I mean, I know the game pretty good. I was like, I'm not sure what is happening. I didn't know they could re-review it. So that whole thing was wild to me, that process.
I mean, you always got to remember when they call usually offside, it's offside. I mean, usually, right?
If they both
Unless it's a weird thing. And, again, you're challenging usually on an offside. We're not talking about goalie interference in the 50-50. That's
a whole other debacle.
I mean, the
I don't know. I couldn't tell you what happens in goalie interference.
Yeah, so this one is more like, okay, and then it's like, okay, it is offside. But then again, now they're not dropping the puck. So right away we were like, okay. So now Avalanche are challenging it. But again, we didn't have the full extent of the shot coming from the outside. I told Rudo, I'm like, they're challenging because he had full possession or whatever. Again, you're just going by what you're thinking. Then you see the replay, you're like, well, you didn't have full possession. You know what I mean? Like Rudo was like, yeah, you're out in left field. But I'm like, well, they're challenging it, so it's for something. And then you can see obviously the shot that goes wide. You're like, oh my God, they're the ones that brought it back in. It is automatic that it's waved off. You know what I mean? Like the offside is waved off. And that happens 4 or 5 times a game. Usually not off of a shot, but usually from a player bringing it back, But yeah, I mean, you got to be sharp. Brett was awesome there. I'm assuming it was Brett. Some people were saying it was Manson, but I think it was more Brett. Usually he's very good at it. He's very on top of it. And those guys are very important to a coaching staff. And the coaching staff have to have that trust, with them. And obviously, again, the coaching staff's been together for 8 years now. I do believe Brett's been there 8 years. So
most, if not all of it.
I was going to say the whole time Bednar's been there. So again, great job by them. And, some say that you're going to donate your earnings to Brett and buy him a steak dinner. That's what they said.
I might owe somebody a bottle of whiskey. Actually, I probably owe a few people bottles of whiskey at this point, but that was definitely one that ranks.
Gizmo, good team win. Any final thoughts from the rink here before you get out of here?
Nope, just going to go battle the snow, but that's a big one. You can feel it in the locker room, too. Vibe is good. They needed that. A little bit of a weird schedule this week. There and back for Winnipeg is tricky, but it'll be an early morning tomorrow for the fellas, and hopefully they can just kind of keep this going. But you can see a lighter version of all of them, and it was noticeable today, whereas this morning there was some nerves and some tension. That was alleviated with a great team win tonight.
Nothing like a win to make you feel better. Thank you for calling in, Giz. We appreciate you, and we'll see you after the show, I'm sure.
Thank you, guys.
On that note, make sure that you have a Toyota to get yourself through the snow out there. Go jump on with your Front Range Toyota dealerships today and get yourself into an all-wheel drive vehicle, one of 17 from the Toyota brand, whether it's one of their trucks like the Tundra, whether it's their 4Runner for an SUV, whether it's their Corolla for a sedan, or dozens of other choices, they have you covered with Toyota. So go get with your Front Range dealers, like I mentioned. Get into the official vehicle of the DNVR and the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche. They got both covered when it comes to Toyota, so you know they're legit. They also have 16 different hybrid vehicles if you want to be eco-friendly and save yourself a little bit of gas on your commute. Whatever it might be, you can go to your Front Range dealers, including AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corbin Toyota and Boulder, Groove Toyota and Littleton, Mount States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Again, the official vehicle of both the Avalanche and DNVR. And once you got yourself a Toyota, make sure you're taking care of yourself, too. You got to be healthy, and that's where UC Health's new Ready, Set, Co. program comes into play. They've got Coach Prime as your chief motivational officer, and they want to make Colorado the healthiest state in the country, back to their rightful place in that position, whether it's sleep health, whether it's mental health, whether it's physical health, whatever it might be. They just want to see you be the healthiest version of yourself. So make sure you get with UC Health at uchealth.org/readysetco, or there's a link down in the description so you can set yourself up and get yourself a little bit healthier. It's the winter season now, so you gotta make sure you're staying spry, stretching out, staying loose, even when the weather's bad outside. That's where UC Health does the job. Last period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast here. Again, I don't think I have a whole lot of negative stuff to say here. The Avs went out and played the game that they needed to play.
Yep.
Were they absolutely elite at every second of the game? No, but when you're up by 2 for the majority of the game, you don't have to be. So play from ahead, win from ahead.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm reading the Bednar tweets and whatever about, for example, Eustace's game, which he thought that he gave him a chance to win. I agree. He thought he was outstanding, which, I agree. I mean, outstanding is a big word, but he says he doesn't like the third one. See, for me, I don't like the second one. It's funny how people have difference of opinions, For me, the third one, he plays it right, and it's a sick tip from Bednar from completely on the side of the net. You know what I mean? And then it goes in, from a different angle. But I didn't like the second one.
The goal for a goalie every night is 2 or less. If you get to 3, I don't care which one you pick. Get one back.
Exactly. But it's just funny how it is like you can nitpick goals, you know what I mean? And you're all hockey people, and all of a sudden people have differences of opinions, So maybe he didn't see the tip on the third. Maybe I thought he got beat clean and I didn't like it. But then I saw you're like this, and the guy scores from behind.
Yeah.
It's a hard one.
Tough.
Georgiev or not, I would have had a hard time to say that was a bad one. But I didn't like the second one because I don't like the push. He doesn't give himself a chance. But he gave his team a chance to win, and that's all we asked for in the net. That's all we're asking, even though it wasn't a very, again, playing goalie for the Colorado Avalanche is not an overwhelming task. It's not, because most nights you're not going to get. That was a typical Colorado Avalanche game tonight. Right?
I mean that was on the far side. You're not going to give up 20 or less very often.
Yeah, but many times it's happened.
Right? 24, 25 pretty regularly.
What I mean.
Yeah.
You're rarely going to get 40 shots. Right? You know what I mean? Like the Pavel Francouz game in Carolina a few years back. Or Like those are just abnormal guy. The team has no legs, nothing, and then the goalie just absolutely steals it. You just need to be sharp. You just need to be on top of your game. I liked his movements. He was on top of the blue. I thought he was ready. He gave his team confidence, and I think that's a demeanor. Except that second goal, I didn't like his demeanor. I thought he was a little soft. But, overall, you gave him a chance to win, and that's all you can ask for. So I thought that was a big positive again tonight. He's at 5 wins now. You know what I mean? Like in 6 games.
Yep.
Right? So pretty good.
I would also like to give a little bit of a nod to the Avs D-Corps. They stepped up the second half of this game. They're playing without Cale Makar. You needed a little bit extra out of everybody tonight. And you got that for the most part. The only guy who honestly I didn't love his game was Devon Toews. And not that he was bad. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't perfect for him tonight. But you got multiple great plays out of Sam Girard where he gets the third assist, doesn't show up on the score sheet, but helped break out the Avs in a bunch of different situations. And quality minutes from pairings like DeHaan and Malinsky together, especially when you're playing with a lead. Calvin DeHaan is someone that you lean on. Josh Manson is someone that you lean on. And the numbers aren't always going to shake out to look super great in a game like this because of the third period where the Avs are... honestly, it wasn't even that bad of a turtle. I thought the Avs played pretty decent hockey. They didn't, jam it down Seattle's throat or anything.
We say it all the time. There's always going to be a push. They're NHL teams, right?
But they went at 5-on-5. They really went pretty even with Seattle. It was just after the goalie pull where Seattle kind of took over a little bit. So it really was a well-played, well-crafted game from Colorado on the whole. Now, Seattle was not any good with the puck tonight for most of the night. They helped the Avs a little bit.
There.
They struggled for sure, but nonetheless, the Avs still were there to take advantage of Seattle's mistakes. And look, you're not going to score 6 on 30 every night. You're not going to get to play Philip Grubauer every night. But you have to have nights like this across the year, whether it's to get their confidence back, like where the Avs are right now, or to get a bit of an easy goal. The Avs were able to pull Cale Makar out of this game. And as much as there's panic about, Cale Makar isn't playing, the game itself went on just fine without him.
And that's what a good start does.
Yep.
I'm gonna. That's the hill I'm gonna die on. You know what I mean? Like the first goal of a hockey game is very important. And I know the Avs have fought me on this because they're so good last couple of years.
How many times last year did we say coming back like this isn't sustainable?
Yeah, and I think this year you're seeing it.
Correct.
I do believe. God, I don't even know what the stat is, but I bet you it's like 60-70% around the league. Usually when you score the first goal.
I believe it's around 2/3, so 66%.
60-70%,
yeah.
so I wasn't messing around. So again, I'm not the best on numbers, but that's always a number I've lived by, and I've seen it too many times as a player. And you sit there, especially if you're on a losing streak, you're like, boy, oh boy, it just didn't need to start that way. And right away, negative thoughts creep into your mind. It's just human nature. It's human nature tonight. When the Avs scored the first one, which was the first one? Oh, Wagner.
Yeah.
When Wag scored right away, I'm telling you, the Seattle bench is like, again, they're saying, yeah, it's all good, guys. It's all good. Let's go. Let's get it back. But negative thoughts creep into your game. It just does. And that's why I thought it was huge tonight. The first goal was outstanding. Coming from Wagner, I understand it's a nice pass from MacKinnon. And like I said, when you play with the best players in the world and you can sneak in a couple seconds with them, you take the advantage.
Yep.
Just ask Big Daddy right here.
It does not get any easier for the Avs. They play Winnipeg in their next game. We already talked about it. After that, they have Carolina. Some tough teams here, and the Avs are going to have to find ways to win hockey games because they are still below 500.
Yep.
They are right now 1 point out of a playoff spot. Not that I know playoff spot looking is stupid at this early in the season.
Yep.
But the reality is the Avs are looking up right now. They have to climb up the standings, not hold on to where they're at.
And don't call yourself stupid. You're very intelligent.
Some days. Some days not as much. Only 3-5 at home with that win, too, is pretty important for the Avs to start moving that home record in the right
2-6,
direction.
you're starting to dig.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you just are. I mean, look at the 0-4 start. You're still digging from it.
Yep.
And you're at game 12, 13. It's like, you're digging.
They kind of dig their way out of it. Then they follow it up with a 3-game loss
That's
streak.
my point. Like,
you're back in the hole.
You're going to have some lapses, right? You're never going to be perfect all the time. So
that isn't to say all of the Avs ails are cured. I think a lot of the issues with this lineup now remain true. We'll see if Cale Makar travels. We'll see if someone like Jonathan Drouin travels to Winnipeg. Hopefully they're starting to get healthier, but the unfortunate reality of injuries is there's no quota. As AJ used to say, just because you're injured now doesn't mean you won't be injured later. So the Avs do need to get healthy. If they do, I wouldn't think too much about anything. They'll be just fine.
Yeah,
if they don't, nights like tonight show you that they can still hang, but it's going to be a tough road.
I agree.
That's all I got. Anything else, E?
No, I, again, crossing my fingers, hoping that Cale Makar's got some, what'd you say, Mr. Miyagi treatment? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
some kind of
from Karate
masseuse or
Kid.
something. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just kind of, healing powers and We're going to send it to him right now to make sure that he's on the bird tomorrow or I should say, like Giz said, he's on the jet to go to Winnipeg.
Hopefully more than just him too. Just so you guys know, we are doing a takeover in 10 days' time against the Washington Capitals. Milan Hajduk coming to watch an Avs game. You can come watch one in person with him. Highly recommend you get your tickets. There's a link down in the description to DNVR events. Go sign up there. Go join us with the party bus. It's a fantastic time. We are going to get out of here for today, though. We appreciate all y'all hanging out on a snowy night here in Denver. So thank you very much. This has been the DNVR Avalanche post-game show presented by Bet365. Hope y'all have a good rest of your evening. We're live tomorrow, 1:45 p.m. for our usual show, probably talking about whatever the Cale Makar update is. So we will see you then.
We all silly like the mayor.